Sande Charles with Baseball Census, and I'm joined by Mets prospect Mickey Jannis. Now, Mickey, it's hard to start an interview with you without bringing up the knuckleball.
Yeah.
Where did that come from?
It's something I threw growing up. Just worked on it, played around with it, fooled around with it. Always had a good one. Just kind of always kept it in my back pocket in case I ever needed it, down the road.
Now, I understand that R.A. Dickey was some of your inspiration for this. Is that true? And how much of him did you follow?
Definitely, it's just because it's such a rare pitch. It's pretty much anybody who throws it is kind of an inspiration. You know, you're always rooting for the guy. So when I got released by the Rays, it was kind of when he was taking off. So it worked out where, I was able to watch him and kind of learn from him. And then, and with him having so much success with it, it was kind of a way to kind of like, hey, maybe somebody else will be looking for it too.
Now, speaking of, it's so rare, and the knuckleball fraternity is a close-knit one. Have they just embraced you? Do you talk to these guys? Any advice that they give you?
Actually, not too much, actually. I've been kind of on my own for the most part right now. There's been, I reached out to Stephen Wright a couple weeks ago when I was in Boston. But with the fall league and everything, it's been kind of crazy right now. And actually, the other day, Tom Candiotti reached out to me, so hoping to meet with him and but yeah, it's definitely a close-knit group, and hopefully I can be a part of that.
Now, talk to me a little bit. You did mention the Rays. So I read, and correct me if I'm wrong, that when you were with the Rays, they wouldn't let you throw your knuckler. Is that true, and do you feel like that hindered you at all?
It wasn't necessarily that they didn't let me. It was just kind of a rare thing at the end of the season because I was still a conventional pitcher at the time. And it was just kind of an opportunity where I reached out to the coach and went up to him our last game of the season. We were out of the playoff race and just was like, hey, I got a pretty good knuckleball. You mind if I throw it in a game? Just see how it is, see if they liked it, see where it would take me. And at first they were all for it. And then when it came time to use it in the game, we kind of shied away from it because we were winning the game and we wanted to end the season on like a good note. So it just ended up not working out. And then, a month later I got released. So, looking back, I probably would have been like, well, I'm just going to do it. Yeah. But being a young kid, just kind of like listen to your coaches and stuff like that. So, it didn't work out with them, but luckily down the road, the Mets, liked what they saw with me. So.
Yes, and let's touch on that because you are so inspiring. So in 2015, when the Mets came calling, you were playing an indie ball. Take me through your mindset of where you were. Were you trying to get back in with a major league team? And so inspiring. Just take me through your story.
Just 3 years of independent ball, 3.5. I reached out to anybody I could to just try to get a look. Yeah. Just see if anybody would, turn my name into somebody, just send somebody to come look, And during the seasons of the independent leagues, I never heard anything from any coaches or any scouts going like, yeah, this team's interested in you, you might get a call here or there. I got like absolutely nothing. So I think it was about 2.5 years in 2014, I think I kind of thought about like, all right, this might be my last season. If nobody's going to give me a look, it's hard to keep playing because with independent ball, you don't know where the end is. It could just end with you never getting another shot. But obviously, I still knew I could throw, but I wasn't putting up the numbers that I could. And then I actually got traded to the Atlantic League, and it was just kind of a change of scenery. And then I was able to just keep being a starting pitcher because the first 2 years of independent ball, I was in a relief role, and it's kind of hard to throw a knuckleball out of the bullpen sometimes, especially when you're trying to develop it.
Definitely.
So it was, I was putting up good numbers, but it wasn't what teams wanted to see, I guess. So then I finally got a starting, my coach finally put me in the starting rotation, and I just kind of took off from there. Kind of started in the beginning in 2014, I went to winter ball in Australia, and that was kind of where I became a starting pitcher. And then the next year, my coach was like, you just be in the rotation, I'll let you go from there. And then, like I said, I wasn't putting up the numbers beginning of that year, and then I got traded to the Atlantic League, put up really good numbers, and then went to Long Island the next year and worked on it in the offseason and just got so much better. And I was just put up really good numbers to get an opportunity from the Mets.
They came calling. You never gave up. So let's talk about now because you are here. What are you working on here at Arizona Fall League?
It's just, for me, it's just continue how I finished the season this year. 2016 was kind of a struggle for me with my command, and that's pretty much the whole thing with the knuckleball is throwing strikes. Because if you throw a good one, it's going to move. Can the catcher catch it, and can you throw strikes with it? So it's just continuing to develop it and continue to throw strikes. And the second half of the season was really strong for me. And then just, like I said, continue what I'm doing, keep throwing strikes, limit the walks, high percentage strikes. That's pretty much the whole thing with it.
Talk about that chemistry that you have to have with a catcher. How do you develop that? How is that here? Because there might be some guys that you've never worked with, and how do you maintain that and less frustration for them, I guess?
Yeah, it's weird. Some catchers try and shy away from it, knuckleball. I don't want to catch it. But with Nito being here, he was my catcher kind of the second half of the year, and we really got on the same page with how I throw. And it's not totally just a knuckleball. I throw a fastball and a slider too. So I like to say I'm a pitcher with a knuckleball.
Yeah.
But so I'm able to mix in my other stuff too. So he calls a really good game, and it's just catching on the side. And then also with Trump, he's caught my last 2 games, and he's really kind of embraced me. He's almost caught me every day on the side, playing catch, and he's always giving me a hard time, oh man, I gotta play catch with you again. But I think he really enjoys it, and he's been really good. But like I said, with him and Nito catching me in the games, they're both really good catchers, and they've seen me enough now where they can adjust and call a good game and stuff like that. So
let's get to know you just a little bit. You are more than a baseball player. So on and off the field, who has inspired you?
My family's always been there for me to back me up. My fiance, since I've met her, she's always supported me playing. Minor league baseball is very tough, and I met her when I was in independent ball, so she's always been there. And we're actually getting married in 2 weeks.
Yes,
so.
November 12th, right?
Yeah, so that's very good. My family's just been a big support system for me. Parents, sister, aunts, uncles, everybody's been there for me. So I would say they've been the biggest support, and I couldn't ask for more from them. So
let's talk a little bit. You are getting married. How are you juggling this? And this November 12th, it's right kind of in the middle, almost towards the end. How are you juggling all of this and preparing for a wedding?
I don't know. No, I just let her do everything.
Yeah. Okay.
No, I'm just kidding.
Yes.
No, I'm just kidding. No, we've been just whatever I can help with. It's crazy. Just after games, had to meet with our wedding coordinator last week, get all that stuff figured out. But we had a lot of the stuff taken care of during the season. So right now we're just kind of doing little things to fill in the little holes. But yeah, it's coming together pretty good, and we're getting pretty close. So
it is literally right around the corner. Well, thank you so much. For Mickey Jannis, I'm Sande Charles with Baseball Census.